here tonight. My name is David Hester. I'm the Director of Instrumental Music here at Jefferson. I'm joined with Mr. Joshua Somerville. He's in charge of our keyboards and our voice. And we're excited to share this end of the year concert with all of you. So again, thank you for being here. I know it's a crazy time of year. And I just wanted to give a shout out to all the students and people that helped make this possible. Mr. Shelton for supporting us and making sure that we have a program to grow from, thinking about where we came from last year to this year. Hopefully you're going to hear quite a bit of improvement. We have beginners on stage, we have veterans on stage. Thinking of the concert we played last year, we only played like maybe 3 or 4 tunes, to this year where we have a whole set of music for you that hopefully you will enjoy. The first tune we're going to play in the concert, Emperor Roca by Jaime Texador. He was a piano teacher and he was often asked to clinic many groups, various summer camps and things like that. And whoever he was clinicking, he arranged the song for. So if you look up the song, you're going to find every single song you hear or version of it is going to be completely different. So this is an arrangement just for this group, Emperor Roca. Again, putting a lot of work in there. You heard a lot of really cool stuff up on the flute by Zoberline. And the next piece we're going to play The Lion King. We played just a part of it last year. We started working on it kind of late. I like to give the students some voice and some buy-in to what we're playing. So most of the concerts, these are songs that the students requested. A couple I picked, but the vast majority of the things we're playing are things that they wanted to pick. So the advantage of being a small group is we get to arrange any and all music that we want. So that's kind of neat. So we're doing a little medley from The Lion King. We'll be playing the entire thing this year. We only played just a smidgen of it last year, so hope you enjoy. So this next tune, Bicycle, it's a kind of a quirky tune, a little novelty thing. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. It's supposed to represent cycling through the city, so it's a little chaotic. You're going to hear some weird, awkward noises from the students. We have added a piccolo to our arsenal, right? So Zoe's taking everything up another octave above the band. So we had a lot of fun with this tune. It's a little quirky, so we enjoyed the Bicycle. This next tune we're going to pick, I got a few tunes the students got to choose. This is Let Me Love You by Mario's, taking it back to 2009. It's a little further back. So, here we go. Let Me Love You. All right, on there you heard lead from, on the tenor saxophone, Mr. Aaron Cruz. And of course, Michael Patton is soloing and improvising. I'm also picking up a couple of chorus lines, or sorry, the bridge, Mr. Carlos Brown-Chavarria on the very saxophone. And I was going to go on the trumpet, good man. All right, pushing even further back to the 90s, Miss Lauren Hill. This is Killing Me Softly. And our rhythm section is made up, from a couple newcomers. We have Bentley Kennedy on bass. Formerly a guitar player, but trying out something new this year and doing a great job. And then Jason McKinney on the drums. And then a couple more newcomers to our music world. Cooper Ward is going to be coming back. Cooper is no stranger to the theater world. He did a lot of tech stuff last year, and he wanted to be a little more musical. He wanted to be spotlighted, so he's on stage. And then Pedro Raquel Pascual. All right, taking it back another couple decades. This is Stevie Wonder's Superstition. All right, we're going to transition here in a little bit. We're going to invite the choir up, our vocal friends. But before they get on their way up here, I've got to recognize our lone clarinetist, Miss Nigerian David. It's kind of a chameleon instrument. It's like playing the melody, it's out the melody, playing the melody. And then, but speaking of chameleons, someone that's been a vital part of our music and theater program, helping out with lights, sound, setup, tear down, everything you can name it. He makes my life so much easier, and Josh's as well. Playing both the tenor saxophone and percussion today, this is Mr. Elston Martin.
Mr. Hester and the band another big hand. It's amazing to see how they've grown from last year and just from the beginning of this school year up until now. It is just amazing. Everything that Mr. Hester touches becomes gold, and I strive to be him like when I grow up. Be like him when I grow up. He's much older than I am, so I'm so grateful for that. We're going to do a couple of songs for you, 3 songs actually, so that's more than a couple. And then we're going to do 2 songs with the band, and then you ain't got to go home. But that's right. So we hope you enjoy. Thank you so much. And we're missing 2 who are not here. One is at work and one is not feeling well, so we only have 1 lone soprano tonight. That's Miss Talia right there. The 2 are not here, we've had to give a solo to someone who had to learn it just right before this concert started, and that is Miss Shawnee in the back. I don't know if y'all can see me or not, but it's all right. Just say what you know. Walk together, children. So you can just sung the song. If you are a parent of any theater people, you would know that we just got done, or they just got done doing Cinderella, the musical. And I was just thoroughly amazed, and it just isn't fair how much talent these children have at such young ages. And I strive to be like them as well. But we're going to do a little bit of a song from Cinderella called Do I Love You Because You're Beautiful. We did this and featured this in our annual Connected concert that happened a couple weeks ago, where we had 400 participants from all